Hello, and welcome to another episode of Heels on the Court. My name is Lee Lyons, and I'm here with my co-host Sam Kirschenbaum. Sam, welcome to 2021. It is a new year. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. I got a new setup for the new year, but still trying to figure it out. Got to put some stuff on my wall, but that's going to take
Yeah.
time. So we'll see what
I mean,
happens.
someday hopefully we'll be able to get out of our bedrooms and be in a place
Be
that's
back,
probably
yeah,
a
where
little
we're
bit
supposed to be.
more professional once everything goes back
Uh-huh.
to normal. But for
My
now,
hole-in-one plaque though is still staying in the shot no matter where we are. Uh,
oh
I'm gonna
no,
put that
that's
up
totally
soon.
fine.
So
You
yeah, when
should.
I think I shot like a 94 that day, but I
But you
still
got
had
a
a
hole
hole
in
in
one,
one.
so it
So
doesn't matter.
so
Yeah.
take that. Uh,
No,
but
definitely. But I mean, yeah, so welcome to a new year, guys. New year, same us. Same stuff going on. Pretty
pretty
much.
much nothing changes when the calendar flips over. It's all the same thing. But that's
Yeah,
just the
I mean,
pessimist in me. I don't know.
the the only thing that did change, I mean, let's just hop right into it. Let's talk about the bowl games, Rose Bowl, and we had the All-State Sugar Bowl.
hmm
Um, I don't really think we need to touch on the Rose Bowl too much. It was a disappointing game. It was not interesting. I stopped paying attention within the first quarter because it was just so bad. Congratulations, Nick Saban, I guess. Whatever. But the only person that I hate more than Nick Saban is Dabo, and let's talk about the Sugar Bowl because that was like yes, like I was just so excited that that
hmm
happened.
Yeah, I mean, we all wanted to see a different game. I think I know we've seen Ohio State Alabama in a semifinal before, but we haven't seen that in a championship game. So that should be kind of fun. I was wrong officially already. My prediction was incorrect. So just like that, uh, I'm
Just
not
like
even
that, I
going to
lose
bother
a
this
million.
time. I'm just going to let this one play out because apparently I don't know anything. But yeah, it was terrible. It was horrible to watch. Um, I look, Alabama's really good. They're really really good. They've been really good for a long time now, and they're just showing it. They're just showing how good they actually are. So I mean, we can all not like it as much as we want, and I can call back to 2014 and 2015 and say, hey, Ole Miss, we beat you twice, but ultimately it doesn't really matter. They've been the best team for a really long time.
Right, right, yeah. I mean, if you have perfection, why mess with it? You know what I mean? um,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's a little annoying how perfect they are, but hey, I'm excited that Clemson isn't in the championship with them because everybody's so sick and tired of that. I think it's funny how Dabo was like, "Oh yeah, Ohio State, their number. What were they ranked? They were ranked number three on the AP
Yeah,
poll or
they
something
were
like
number
that.
on the college football playoff poll. They were ranked third.
Third,
I don't know what
and
they were on the AP. It gets to a certain point in the season where I stop paying attention to
where
AP rankings and coaches rankings.
right,
They just don't matter to me. But
yeah,
yeah, they were third. And while you're
and
talking,
Dabo
I
said
guess I
that
can go look it up.
no problem. But
Um,
Dabo said that on his personal list, he would put Ohio State at number 11. Well, where does that put Clemson on his list if Ohio State's number 11? Um, so I don't know. I just think that it's kind of it's just funny and irony. And you got LeBron James tweeting all of that. You know, he's an Ohio guy. He
mhm.
was rooting for the Buckeyes, and it was just his memes were on point. I recommend if you don't follow LeBron on Twitter to our listeners, just go take a look at his account for the New Year's game for the Sugar Bowl. It's pretty funny. Um, but that was a really good game. I paid attention. I pretty much watched the whole game. There was like 9 minutes left in the fourth quarter, and I like tuned out because it, I mean, of course a team can come back, but Ohio State was pretty much in the lead, and I felt confident that they were probably going to win the entire game. So I tuned out, but I mean, these teams went really hard, and I'm excited to see in the championship what happens,
Hmm.
because I mean, it's clear Ohio really wants it. Um, so I don't know. What do you?
Ohio State's a great football team, and if Justin Fields is healthy, I think they have a chance to win. I certainly don't think they have no chance to win it. But Alabama's got a lot of really good players and two Heisman Trophy candidates and legitimate Heisman Trophy candidates, and either one could finish one or two, and we'll see what happens with that. But it might be closer than we think, and then people will give the excuse if we do see a close game that it's because Ohio State didn't play as many games. But I don't know if that's necessarily true, or who really. This is uncharted territory, and I don't know who really gets the benefit from being the team that plays less or more games. Is getting more practice better? Is staying off your feet and staying healthy better? I don't really know. I don't think we'll ever have the answer to that question, but I think both sides are really going to give that excuse no matter what happens.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, kind of going back to what you said about Justin Fields. I mean, I guess today, head coach Ryan Day said that he expects Justin to be playing in the national title game on Monday night. And I mean, we all saw that he took a hit, a pretty hard hit, and I
Hmm.
mean, he got up and he stayed in the game. But it looked bad, and I kind of saw him wincing a couple of times, like when he would throw the ball. And I mean, like, I'm glad that he stayed in and that they were able to win. But I mean, like Coach Day says, like, Justin's a competitive guy, and he wasn't going to come off the field, and I get that, and I think that that just like brings us back to a topic that we've kind of talked about. Just about like either playing through the pain and specialization and
Hmm.
specializing at a young age and all of that, and is it worth it, like you were saying, to stay healthy. So I mean, I'm excited to see. We'll see what happens. But I mean, incredible that Fields threw a Sugar Bowl record 6 touchdown passes in the 49-28 win over Clemson, and he had 385 yards passing. So
Wow.
I just think
Yeah.
that that's incredible. So I mean, as long as he stays healthy, I mean, I'm sure we'll see him in the NFL at some point. Um, but
Oh, definitely he'll be drafted, but where and how high is certainly up for debate. What
yeah,
was the spread on that Clemson Ohio State game?
oof, I
Let's
don't
see if I can
know.
find that. 7. Clemson was favored by 7. So,
Hmm.
huh. Yeah. Hope you took Ohio State if you're into sports
If you're
betting.
betting,
But it's always really interesting to look at because so often in these big games we see these lopsided wins, and then you look at the spread and it was the opposite direction, and you're like, oh, how did that? And that doesn't really make much sense. So it's really interesting to see that, and maybe some rest did play a factor in it. Uh, well, again, we'll never know. I don't know. I really don't
yeah.
know. I don't know which benefits you more, but certainly
So for our
interesting.
listeners, if
Hmm.
you're looking to bet on a team, bet on bet on the on the underdog. It's always a good choice.
I don't know about that one, but
Bet on
that's
Ohio
your
State.
advice. That's your advice and not mine, and take it that way. That doesn't come from both of us, and it just comes from Lee. But
I don't even bet, so don't take my advice. I don't do sports betting. Um,
I'm really into it. I just don't bet myself. But I
yeah,
definitely I like to pick a couple games in my head every week and see what happens. But it's interesting. I'm glad I don't bet because I probably get most of them wrong.
Oh, I would lose so much money. I would lose all the money that I don't have. But yeah, I think it's interesting, and I think that, it's just like a big week in general for football, I mean, we've got, playoffs coming up, it's January, we're closer to the Super Bowl than ever
Hmm.
before. It was a shortened season. Um, you've got coaches being fired. The Jags, the Jets, and the Chargers are all looking for new head coaches now. Um, I mean, I feel like the Chargers always kind of have a disappointing season, which
Hmm.
is unfortunate. I think that just like going back in history, the move from San Diego to Los Angeles, I think it was a bad move. I think it
Oh, it
was
was a huge
bad.
mistake.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, now it's like I've got friends from San Diego that like they like hate the Chargers now, and they used to be fans. But
hmm.
it was a huge mistake, I think, and it's just like it's
Yeah.
not doing anybody any favors. And I kind of feel bad for Justin Herbert. I got to see him
Hmm.
play when in person when he was at the University of Oregon, and he's a really good player, and I always just feel bad for these guys who get drafted onto teams that that just suck. Like anybody who's gone to the Browns, like I just feel so bad.
Hmm.
Um
Yeah, but hey, they made the playoffs this year though, first time since
like
2002.
I know,
But
and as everybody's like drinking Bud Light and
it's it's certainly something where you can look at it and say, yeah, I feel badly for this really good player, but what do you do when adversity hits? And for a lot of these guys, especially quarterbacks, they haven't lost many games. Some of them have lost single digit amount of games, if not zero games in their entire career since high school, maybe even before
True.
that. And so you're going to lose games in the NFL. That's just a given no matter what team you're on. If you gave the Super Bowl winner at the 32nd pick the top quarterback in the draft, the quarterback's still going to lose games. You're going to lose
Yeah.
more games in your first 5 years in the NFL than you've ever lost in your entire life. How do you deal with that? And I think we've seen different guys handle it in different ways. And I think Dwayne Haskins is the perfect example of somebody that maybe hasn't handled it the best. And unfortunately, he got released, and we can get into that a little bit. But things aren't easy in the NFL. You know, everybody, they talk about the welcome to the NFL moment, and how do you respond to that? So maybe it's coaching, maybe the team needs a little bit of a revamping, but I think if Justin Herbert's the competitor he seems like he is and can play as well as he did this year, I think they'll actually maybe be able to turn it around. However, when fans come
Yeah.
back, the Chargers are at a severe disadvantage because just living here in Los Angeles anecdotally, and and I'm sure the statistics back it up. I'm so confident that I really am not even. I don't know how you would check it, but I'm not going to check. Like nobody
Everyone's
is a
Rams
Charger
fans.
fan. Yeah, everyone likes the
No.
Rams. I
Or the
hate both.
49ers or like
Or
yeah,
yeah,
or
or the team that they were with before Los Angeles got a team again. So
right.
there are definitely people I know. Like if like I'm a Steeler fan, and I'm not changing my team because the team moved here.
Yeah.
So it's just nobody nobody was going, not just because it was in Carson at a small soccer stadium. Like nobody's gonna go when it's at SoFi either. That's my big prediction for next season.
Yeah.
Hopefully, when we can allow fans back in, I just don't think that the Chargers are going to have a following. But here's the thing about LA, right? You have an opportunity. You hire a new coach.
Hmm.
Say the Rams have a down year, and you make the playoffs. All of a sudden, everybody's a Charger fan. So
Yeah.
that's your
Bandwagoners.
opportunity. Yeah. Oh, huge here, massive. I know it's
Yeah.
everywhere, but especially here,
No,
it's
but like
horrendous.
specifically in California, especially with like the Lakers and all of that, like
Mm.
everybody's a bandwagon Laker fan. So I don't know. That and Golden State Warriors.
Well,
But
I'll give
yeah,
Northern
no,
California credit. They stick to their teams.
that's
Their
true.
teams
That's
just
true.
got good in the last 10 years for the most part. But down here in Southern California, no, everybody,
No.
no.
Everybody's a bandwagoner.
People are fans of certain teams, and you're like, why? And they're like, oh, because they're good. Well, what kind of reason is that?
Okay. Like the 76ers are good too. Go be a 76ers fan, you know? Like, I don't know. But I mean, it is a bummer though, because have you seen photos of SoFi Stadium? Like, I have a lot of friends who
Yeah.
actually they've got jobs at SoFi, either with Legends or with SoFi in general. And the stadium looks great. It looks awesome. I would love to go and like see a game there, even though I really hate live football, specifically professional football. College football I like, but professional football, it's just not the same as on TV. Like, at least on TV you get the commercials. um, but I mean, I would totally go to a game if my Cowboys were playing at SoFi. I almost bought tickets because they were supposed to play there this year, and of course we all know what happened.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, it's just a shame that Kroenke put in so much. I mean, he's got so much money that it's probably fine, but I mean, he basically funded this stadium, and he's got a bunch of other teams that he has to worry about with, you know, the Nuggets and the Avalanche and the Colorado Rapids and things like that. But yeah, it's just a shame that that stadium will probably be empty a lot of the time, and or filled with fans who are visiting team fans, not home fans. But sticking on the topic of football, who do you want to see in the Super Bowl this year? Because I know that we've got all of the playoffs happening and things like that. So
Right. Well, let me just go ahead and pull up the playoff bracket really fast.
yeah, I know for the AFC we've got the Chiefs, their Bills, Colts, Steelers, Browns, Titans, and Ravens. Of course, you want to see your Steelers
Of
go
course I
through.
do.
My Cowboys were eliminated. They're always eliminated. It's fine. I have a torturous life. But
I mean, look, you pick, I think it's like a 10 spot difference in the draft. The Cowboys weren't going to go to the Super Bowl. So I think there's a little bit of a benefit there. You know, for me right now, I really like the Bills, unfortunately. As much as I hate to say it, I just think Josh Allen is so good, and Stephon Diggs, I think, is a really good combination. And you know, Josh Allen is a young guy, but Stephon Diggs had that big moment in the playoffs a few years ago. I feel like he's surrounded by a core that's been there, done that, and they should be able to make a run. But ultimately, I think the Chiefs are too good, and I think they repeat out of the AFC.
really,
Yeah, I mean, I do. I think again, experience is so important in the NFL playoffs. We see it year after year. The teams with more experience are the ones that end up winning the Super Bowl. It's a rarity when that's not the case. And I think the Chiefs, they went through their ups and downs in the postseason during the Andy Reid era. And then, you know, you had Mahomes sit behind Alex Smith for a while, and then he figured it out, and look at what they've accomplished. So they're such an experienced team with postseason play. I really don't see them losing in the AFC. I don't think that there's a team there that has a defense good enough to close out a game against the Chiefs. I will say, if the Steelers were at full health, that's an organization that obviously is accustomed to winning. They have a 37-year-old quarterback. To me, if things didn't go awry with injuries, the Steelers would be the favorite still to win the AFC, but that's not the case. That's not our present. So I think that the Chiefs win the AFC. When I look at the NFC, it's really so much more of a toss-up in my mind as to who can win. I feel like you could pick any one of these teams outside of probably the Bears and the football team and have a good chance of getting it correct, because the Seahawks are getting hot defensively at the right time, which I actually said in like week 4. I had a feeling this was going to happen, and no proof of that, but I did say it. And I think the Rams, with the injury to Jared Goff, maybe you can knock them off the list. I know he's supposed to come back, but is he going to be fully healthy? They haven't really
Right.
played well regardless anyway. So I think the Saints beat the Bears. I think the Bucks beat the football team. I think the Seahawks beat the Rams. And I think that I'm gonna go with the one versus the one. I think the Packers win the NFC and the Chiefs win the
Really?
AFC. And I think the
Okay.
Packers win the Super Bowl.
Gotcha. Gotcha. I mean, I think that the biggest, like, wild card team, like, the one wild card team that's the biggest threat to everything is I feel
Hmm.
like it's the Ravens. I mean, of course the Buccaneers like are also an acceptable answer, but like if the Ravens can get through Tennessee in the first round, then Lamar Jackson could make it interesting again for the rest of the AFC. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, I mean like of course like I would love to see the Browns like make it to a Super Bowl and like win it all because like I
Let me make
said,
it very
I'm
clear. I'll,
they're
I'll,
not
I'll
going to
let you
go
continue in a
anywhere.
second. I'm going to Kanye West you like you're Taylor Swift, but I I I would love nothing more than for the Browns to get absolutely blown out by the Steelers. And the game on Sunday yesterday meant absolutely nothing really to the Steelers,
Yeah.
but my God, was I hoping the Browns would lose so they'd miss the playoffs. But anyway, you continue with what you were saying.
Well, I just like want their curse to be broken. Like it's always fun, the lovable losers. I mean, I don't really love them, but I love like a good happy ending.
Hmm.
Um but yeah, I mean, also last year I was really rooting for the Titans. I really wanted them to just like dominate. Um and they didn't, which is fine. But yeah, I mean like I agree with you though. I mean, I think the Chiefs will probably make it again. I don't know about the NFC though. Um Honestly, like I should be paying more attention to the NFC, but along with the Washington football team is my arch enemy, so I don't have anything really nice like anything nice to say about them. The Buccaneers, I like have never paid attention to them and have only somewhat started paying attention since Brady like
Right,
went
right.
there. But
Hmm.
I mean, I would like to see the Seahawks go all the way. But you're probably right. We've got it on recording now, and it'll probably be published. But we'll probably see a Chiefs Packers game. With the Chiefs, I'll call it. If we have a Chiefs Packers game, I'm gonna say that the Chiefs take it.
Wow. Okay,
Um,
so we're on opposite sides should that happen.
yeah.
I think
So
Aaron Rodgers is too good. I think that and he can say all he
I think
wants
he's
that
too
the
old.
well maybe, but you can say all you want about him not letting the Jordan Love situation get to his head and it.
Hmm.
I'm sorry, but if you're an NFL caliber quarterback and a Hall of Fame quarterback at that, and you're getting the Brett Favre treatment, or I guess it's really the Aaron Rodgers treatment to Brett Favre, that Aaron Rodgers was in that situation. I don't think Aaron Rodgers wants to play for another team, and I think this is his postseason to make sure that his legacy is always a Green Bay Packer, and I just don't see him playing a bad game. Does that mean the defense holds up? I don't know, but
Right.
Aaron Rodgers is just that kind of guy where there's no way he makes a mistake throughout the playoffs. There's absolutely no chance he's going to play flawlessly for as many games as they're in it. And I just don't think like I'm not typically the kind of person to analyze sports in this way, but I just don't think there's anybody that has as much to prove or has more on the line than Aaron Rodgers. And I know a Super Bowl is a
Hmm.
Super Bowl for everyone, but if you take that level, you take it even level for everyone, It's just Aaron Rodgers right now. His competitiveness and what's on the line for him is even higher than what it is for everyone else, and we know he responds well to that. And
Yeah.
I've been following the situation ever since they drafted Jordan Love, and it's just like he can keep saying to the media that he doesn't care, but come on, you know he does. He has to. He just has to, and it's got to make some kind of a difference in his mind. But we'll see what happens.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I just like I don't know. I'm curious to see what happens, and I think that there's a lot of predictions. Like right now, I'm just like looking at a couple of predictions that have been made. Chiefs versus Bucks with Chiefs winning, Chiefs versus Packers with Chiefs winning, Chiefs versus Packers with Chiefs winning, and then Packers versus Bills with Packers winning. So, these are all predictions and we don't know. But I mean, I think Aaron Rodgers, like, he's a great football player. But I do think that he's getting old, not as old as Tom Brady. Brady's like ancient at this point for football. But I just think that he's like past his prime, if that makes sense. Like I still think that he's a great player, but I think that there are just so many like young guys that are coming in, and this goes back to the whole specialization topic of like there's so many people coming in, like these kids are just like faster, stronger, like everything. It's like they're bionic or something. That I think that it's kind of like not time to move on, because he's still probably got maybe a couple good years left. But I don't know. I just feel like
he's the MVP most likely.
Yeah.
If not, he's
Yeah.
a top 3 or 2 finisher in MVP voting for sure.
Oh, totally.
But probably Aaron Rodgers is going to win the MVP. So he's still in peak form right now. Maybe he's not the 28, 29-year-old that he was, but he's no slouch of a quarterback at this point in his career, and he had a fantastic season. That's what I'm saying, though, is just when you look at the quarterbacks and you look at the experience levels of each quarterback, especially in the NFC, I don't know why I worry more about Breeze than anybody else.
Yeah.
I just don't know. I don't think they can get past the Seahawks as well as the Seahawks defense is playing. And I could see Russell Wilson beating Aaron Rodgers, but I just don't think it happens. I really don't.
Yeah. I mean, I if it's a Chiefs-Packers game and the Chiefs win, it's 100% Patrick Mahomes. It's boring, but he's the best QB on the best team. Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, and Josh Allen, like among all the other quarterbacks that are coming up, they're not slouches. But I mean, we've got to like. Did we all watch Patrick Mahomes in the postseason last year? Like, we have no reason to doubt his ability at all. So,
right.
Yeah, we're gonna have to wait and see.
We're gonna see Chiefs Bills for a long time in AFC championships. I just don't.
Yeah.
I don't think this is the year that Josh Allen gets past a 15-1 Chiefs team. They're just too good. So they're just way too good. They are. There's no team that has the defense to beat them, and it sucks because I wanted to see the Steelers at full strength go against the Chiefs. I really wanted to see that because the Steelers' defense through the first 11 or 12 games was incredible. I mean, really good. One of the best defenses we've seen in a long time. Definitely the best defense for the Steelers since the early 2010s, late 2000s, or mid 2000s when they had James Harrison and Troy Polamalu. But it's just a shame because the drafting has been so excellent out of Pittsburgh and the guys that they've gotten in late rounds, especially at the wide receiver position. When you look at offense, like if this team was at full strength, I really think they'd have a chance at beating the Chiefs. But again, not this year. Won't happen. And then
Not
hopefully
this year.
Roethlisberger retires because I've just had enough of Roethlisberger. And also
done.
on top of that, it's like a $40 million cap hit on top of it. So that's really why I want him to retire, is we don't have to deal with that as fans, and re-sign some of the young players, the young core that the Steelers have. But this isn't a podcast about the Steelers, so I'm gonna save it there.
We could do that. I mean, we could do all of your Pittsburgh teams.
Yeah,
We've got
we'll touch
the
on
Steelers,
it,
the Pirates. Are you a Penguins fan? Because we can do
I
that
am, but
too.
I'm not huge into hockey, but I pay
Gotcha.
attention. But I'm not. Look, you can't call me a bandwagon fan because I've stuck with the Pirates ever since I was a little kid, and from '92 to 2013, some rough times. So, the longest playoff drought in the history of major American professional sports. We're not even talking about breaking records in baseball. We're talking about breaking major
Droughts.
Professional sports records. Longest losing season drought. Longest drought without winning a playoff game. Longest, it was just horrible.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that's also a big reason why I wanted the Browns to lose, is because I really want that 20 season streak to end. It ended, but I want somebody else to take the throne. And the Browns were about to go to 18, and I wanted to see them get to 21 so that I just don't have to hear about it anymore. Because I hate Cleveland a lot. And if you're from Cleveland,
Ooh. I hate you too.
I guess I hate you. I don't know. Apparently, I do. If you're a fan of the Browns or the Indians, then yeah, I guess. Sorry. Keep watching, subscribe, all that.
They're not the Indians anymore, though. They're changing their name.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. I knew that mistake was going to happen at some point. But the baseball team, whatever it is they decide to go with.
Well, we've got the football team, and now we're going to have the baseball team. So
to clarify, I am happy about the name change. Like we said in a couple episodes ago, it was a long overdue name change. It just takes time to rewire the brain. It's totally something I shouldn't be saying, and I know that. But it's just hard to remember because it's something we shouldn't have been saying for a really long time.
Yeah, exactly.
Same with the football team. It's just a name that we should never have been saying, but then it gets so ingrained, and you're a little kid growing up, and you just think it's okay. It's not. Yeah. But anyway,
when you said it earlier, I was just like, what are you talking about? When you said the football team, I was confused for half a second, and I was like, oh yeah, Washington. Okay. And then just like went back, but I was just like, what the hell? I'm like, that's not like, what team? The football team? Like, no. But yeah, it takes a while for people to adjust. But yeah, bandwagoning is such a funny thing. I get a little bit of guff from people when I tell them I'm a Cowboys fan. They're like, oh, you bandwagoner. I'm like, the last time they won a Super Bowl was in 1995. That was the year before I was born,
No.
People. Why would I bandwagon being a fan of Jerry Jones's team? It doesn't make sense.
But see, it gives me a pass for the Steelers and the Penguins, because now I can say,
yeah. But then it's like people are always like, well, what's your favorite baseball team? I'm like, oh, the Rockies. And they're like, why do you have so many teams outside of like your state, kind of a thing? And I'm
see, but like, you have a good reason.
I do have a good reason.
You have a good reason for both. And
exactly.
I don't know if you want to go into that, but
yeah, it was just having family friends who ended up throwing the first pitch in one of the World Series games. And, the Rockies held one of my friends' lucky numbers. Like, all of them had it written down and somewhere on their person during the World Series. And they actually won one of the games or something. I don't know what the deal was, but something with the number. And they were like, oh my God, it's a miracle. And so they just kept writing it down. They didn't win the World Series, which is fine, but it was just like a miracle that like all that stuff happened.
What was the number again?
I think it was 64.
64, okay.
Something like that. But you can totally Google the story. It's totally there. It was our friend Kyle. He unfortunately passed away of cancer. But it was like his make a wish was to meet like the Rockies and do all of that stuff. And so once, because he was a big baseball fan, and so we were all supportive of that and everything. But yeah, so the Rockies have been my team ever since. I love the color purple too, so it just like works out. But yeah, and then I went to school in Colorado, so got to go to a bunch of Rockies games and all of that. Also a fan of the Broncos. I love their organization just as a whole, and then have a couple of friends who play for them. So yeah, it just like, people, I don't really hate on any teams other than the Washington football team. And I think that's about it. The Eagles, maybe. I don't care, but like, but the Washington football team, I definitely hate. Like, if you like them, then it's game over.
I hate a big list of teams, so I'm not even going to go into that because we'd be sitting here all day if we talked about how many teams I hate. It's just interesting because I don't think that, and maybe it's just because I'm a Pittsburgh fan and my family's from Pittsburgh, so that's the reason why. But I don't know if it's because I'm a fan of Pittsburgh teams or if it's really just that it just doesn't seem like that in any other sport, in all the sports and with all the divisions, there's like no division system where teams hate each other more than the ones that the Pirates are, that Pittsburgh's in, like with the Pirates and the rivalry with the Cubs and the Cardinals and the Brewers. And then in football with, obviously, hate the Browns, Ravens, and Bengals. I hate them. Like, it's nasty. You see it when they play, that it goes to another
dirty.
level of, yeah. So, I don't know. I don't know if that's just like AFC North, NL Central kind of thing, or if that happens for everyone, but I just hate all of those teams.
Have you ever been to a Raiders game? That stuff is terrifying.
I wonder what it's going to be like now in Las Vegas, but
it's so good. They made their parking lot smaller so that all the tailgates are going to be happening at the casinos, and they've got shuttles from the casinos going back and forth to the stadium. They've got like such a good setup. It's like the smartest. It's going to be great for them. It's going to be great for the Raiders. It's going to be great for Las Vegas. It's going to be an amazing time. It's going to be huge.
Look, I hope so, and I hope it's a safer experience for people. I miss the Raiders in Oakland. I'll say it, but it's is what it is now. I guess they're in Las Vegas. They have a beautiful stadium. I haven't been to Allegiant, right? Isn't that Allegiant Stadium? But I went to the new hockey arena that they built, and actually got to experience that in its entirety because we played a tournament there when I was at Ole Miss, the MGM Grand main event. So we went to T-Mobile, played 2 games there, so had I think like 2 or 3, maybe even 4 practices at the arena, and it just was crazy cool stuff to see. But that arena is incredible, so I'm sure that they've got the stadium down too, if it's anything like that arena.
So like decked out. I love going on stadium like tours and stuff like that, and just seeing how like tricked out all these new stadiums are. I'm especially excited to see what they're doing to the Forum for the Clippers and all of that, which is kind of sad because I feel like the Forum is also kind of legendary and all of that, but it's gonna come out bigger and better like it always usually does, hopefully. And it's just exciting to see. But yeah, got to get on some of these stadium tours once all this COVID madness is over. I wanna check out some concession stands. Nothing is better than the waffle fries at the concession stands that they have with the collector's cup soda. I'm spending like $40 on food as well as Dippin' Dots anytime I go to a sporting event.
What's your favorite stadium? Your favorite stadium you've been to? You need to go sport by sport if you want, but
yeah, I was gonna say I haven't been to a ton of like professional football games. I've actually only ever been to one. Um, it was
Hmm.
at Mile High Stadium, or Mile High. Uh, I don't even know what they've named it now with the naming rights, but
I can't remember either.
Sports
But
Authority Field at Mile High Stadium.
yeah,
Um,
and then they changed it again. But
and then they changed it again. But
mhm.
that was pretty cool. It was pretty tricked out. I got to see two Super Bowl trophies, which was kind of cool. That's what I remember from my time there. But favorite baseball stadium, I've been to Dodgers. I've done Angel Stadium. I've gone to Coors Field, and those are the only three stadiums that I've been to. But Coors Field is really cool. I really like Coors. It's super easy to get around. You've got the Rocky Mountains. It's gorgeous. You've got like the trees that they've got in there and everything. It's a lot of fun. Plus, you can go to the rooftop. You can get like a $5 ticket before the game. You don't have a seat, but you go up to the bar. You get yourself some beers. It's 2 for $5 beers before the game for a certain like happy hour. I think it's like 2 hours before the game, so you can get it all in. No, but it's great. I call that place home. I know it so well that
Hmm.
it's awesome. Plus, it's one of the only stadiums left in like America, I think, that still allows you to bring your own food in,
Oh,
which is pretty cool.
I didn't know that. Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but yeah, I let's see what my favorite baseball stadium. I'm gonna leave PNC Park out of it, although a lot of people rank that as their top one. I obviously you would just say there's bias there. So for me, Petco Park was really awesome in San Diego. Um, really loved it. I actually, when I go to baseball games though, even though it's further from where I am, I go to Angel Stadium and not Dodger Stadium just because I can't stand the Dodgers or Dodger Stadium. So I'll drive the extra like hour
I've got
to get
my
to Angel
Angels gear
Stadium.
on.
Oh, hey, look at that.
Yeah, they
But
finally
yeah,
shipped me my jacket.
and then my favorite probably arena that I got to work in, had an opportunity to see. I guess it would. I mean, it has to be Rupp Arena, right? Kentucky.
Hmm.
Um, like obviously, I got to see a lot of professional arenas also, but there was nothing like getting to shoot some shots in Rupp Arena. It was like a childhood dream. It was pretty crazy, but
Shoot some hoops.
mhm, a lot of fun. Really, really cool
Love
stuff.
a lot of shooty hoops. But weird segue, not really segue, but something came up because we're talking about basketball. You won't believe who connected with me on LinkedIn.
Oh no, who?
Lorenzo Ball.
How did that happen?
But I don't think it's like the
It's
real
not. There can't be
Lorenzo
the real
Ball.
one.
It,
It's not like
no.
verified or anything, is it? Oh, okay. So what is it?
Well, there's
Tell me,
no
what is it?
there's no photo, so it could be. Um
That wouldn't be shocking at all if he had no photo. But
no, I don't it's not him. But I'd like to think that it is, so I'm going to tell myself that it is.
well, what's the
But
story? How did that? How did that even?
well, so
Why
I
would you
get this
add something
LinkedIn.
that's clearly not him? Or you got added?
No, I got added.
Oh, okay.
So I got a notification on my phone that I got a new LinkedIn request, and I was like, okay, sure, because I've been getting a lot of LinkedIn requests lately, because of working with the NBA, and just a bunch of people. I'm a huge proponent of like, I'll help anybody who I can if I have like a contact or whatever. Please don't add me on LinkedIn after saying this. Um, but like, I'll try to help in the best way that I can. One of the reasons why I wanted to start this podcast, especially with Sam, just so that we could get like our experiences out there. And so like, if you're going through something like what we have, like you're not alone. But anyway, so I go and I look, and it says that Lorenzo Ball has added me on LinkedIn, and there's no photo, and I just thought that it wasn't loading on my phone. And so I go on to the app, and like I'm scrolling, and it says that this guy goes to LSU, and I'm like, oh, it's not Lorenzo Ball. Um, but he's trying to work in sports. Like it says that he wants to work in sports after he graduates, and that he also works for like some LSU like ad agency or whatever. So he's still in school, but I got real excited for a second. I was like, "Oh my gosh, Lorenzo Ball wants to add me on LinkedIn." So that's my fun story for the day.
I can't say I have anything that matches that. I don't even know what you're
And I tried
talking
looking
about.
this guy up on Facebook because like I want to see who this person is because there's no picture. But all that came up was like the actual Lorenzo Ball and his fan page, his like verified page. So
That's so
so I was
funny.
like, nah,
That's a
I'm
really
not even gonna
interesting
try.
thing. I don't even know what to make of that. But
So Lorenzo, if you're listening,
you're one
hi.
of the 6 people.
Hey, listen, we got more than 6 listeners, so hello to the crowd. Thank you for your time. I think that's all we've got for today. Um, if you've got Lorenzo Ball's phone number, let us know. But otherwise, please make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you listen to us on
Oh my
Spotify,
God.
Apple Music, anything like that, make sure that you hit the notification buttons every time that there's a new episode so that it alerts you. Follow us on Instagram at Heels on the Court and let us know what you want to talk about. Our email is wide open, so go ahead and email us at heelsonthecourt@gmail.com with any questions, comments, or things that you want us to talk about. We'll totally be open to anything. So let
Yeah,
us
at
know.
some point we'll have a questions segment on here when we get enough people asking questions. We just sit here and answer questions for like 20, 30 minutes.
Yeah, it'll be
I'm so
fun.
down
Like,
for that.
and it doesn't even have to be about sports. It could literally be about anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, so thanks for listening, and we'll catch you guys next week. That Lorenzo Ball story.